Hello and welcome to the Dutch Inn channel. It's Sunday the 28th of April 2024, just gone 7 o'clock in the evening, and we've just completed the meetings at Southwell, Wetherby and Bath, and today we have made a profit, so I'm very happy with that, although it wasn't a great profit. But we'll just look into the sheets first of all for the month. And we staked £900, got back 973.87, so a profit of 73.87. So it wasn't too terrible, with 6.22 points up for the month. I mean, the profit hasn't been too terrible. Most probably want some ideas, but I'm thinking of changing the staking plan. All right, we've got a couple more days to go in this month, and I've been sort of messing around as the month's gone on because we were so far adrift that we had to get that money back. So I want to see whether there is a better staking plan out there. But first of all, let's have a look at today's results. As I say, there was Bath, Wetherby and Southwell. We'll start at Bath here. We started off with a couple of wins, but they wasn't maximum wins, but that was okay. And then during the meeting we had two returns of 100% there. So we managed a profit at the end of the day at Bath at 13.55. And then we went into Wetherby. We did okay at Wetherby as well, to be fair. We made a £52.48 profit. And then when we went to Southwell, we pretty much came out level there, £7.84. But when I look at the wins that we've had today, and we've had 8 full wins and 2 wins that were more than our money back, I'm thinking to myself, maybe this profit should be bigger than what we've got down in the corner here. I mean, I've done different staking plans over the years, but of course I don't really want to put a staking plan into practice that could financially ruin us. Because I used to do one where if I was betting in them 7 races today at Bath, I would go £10 on the first race and then I would double it if it didn't win. And normally within 3 or 4 races I would have a winner and then stop. But we all know that as soon as you decide you're going to put that kind of money down, if you don't get a winner in the first 6, you would lose 630 quid, and then you would need 63 wins on the trot to get back into it. Now, you don't have to do what I did there and go down the card. You could start with the earliest race and go into the second race, then across to the third race. But when you're doing it in just theory, it doesn't matter. But until you're putting that kind of money down, that's when it changes. But I'm just wondering whether there's any other way. The way we do it is very safe. But you can see on some days that you need more winners to get more profit. I mean, we've had 2 there that were really not worth getting back. But as I say, a profit is a profit, but if you lose 3 or 4, when you lose 4, you could be up to £200 down just in that day. And that's what I'm trying to sort, really, where we're not going to go that deep into debt. But I will keep looking I'm very happy with the system that's throwing out winners. So that I'm not going to change whatsoever. I know there was someone out there that said to me they lay out something like 90% in a Dutching system, but I don't really want to be winning 10% and then having to win 9 on the trot or 10 on the trot just to make a 1 profit. So I would rule that one out, but the doubling system is okay when you look at it in theory. But anyway, let's forget that for now. Let's worry about, we had a £73.87 profit today. So that sort of adds to what we've got after a really bad start to the month and the middle of the month. So we just got to survive 2 more days really before we can turn over a new leaf and start again. So let's have a look at the racing today. And I've done a little bit of like fairy lights at the bottom here. Races that, because don't forget, I put the races up today for the whole of the 3 cards with all of their races, whether they were maidens or anything. But I've only backed in the races that have the runners that had at least 3 races each. I haven't done anything else. I haven't backed anything that's odds on as my first selection. And really, if you're doing every race where the horses have run at least 3 times on the flat, you shouldn't really appear with any odds on favourites. So we will start and go through from Bath. And again, I know people like to tell me, but I still didn't get a winner in a 3-horse race. I had the second as usual, but that was a loss. And you can see the losses. The straight losses are in red, and the green is obviously the win. The light orange is the money back, but not enough with the stakes, and the dark orange is money back where we made a profit. And the grey are the races we didn't touch in. So let's go into the second race at Bath, the 220. Quite a few horses we backed here, but we did go down to Tiger Bay. And as I said to you, that colour there, when you click on it, the colour removes. But when it goes back, it will go to a dark orange. So it means that we made a profit in the race, which is the most important thing. Then we come to the third race, and this was, if you look there, it was one of these unraced maidens, and it wasn't even worth touching. But again, when you look at that, I did manage to give the first and second, but the horses that were unraced came 3rd and 4th. So they're always worth just putting a line through. Then into the 320, I had Enoch do, and this was our 4th selection, but not to £100 return. But again, it was a profit return, so that was the important thing there. Now we're going to move into the 5th race, which was a loss. This was favourite, Sierra Pearl. And again, you know where I finish as normal. We had the 2nd there, and the 3rd, and the 4th, and the 5th. So it was a shame, really, but the favourite won it well. It just seemed to go that way today. Whenever I put a favourite in, it lost. And whenever I left the favourite out, it won. And when I didn't back Eugene Murphy, he won. And when I backed him, he lost. It was just one of those days, I think. And then into the 430 at Bath. This was one I'd left out. This was Arctic Mountain coming back for Godolphin. I didn't really fancy it. And when you don't fancy a short price favourite, it gives you more selections. And it gave us Law Supreme, Josie Gordon, good ride on that. And that came through and won at 12. And then in the 5:05 at Bath, they backed this down, Swatch, and this was Holly Doyle. That was our second selection at 5.45. And I'm glad it won, because when I look at this thoughtful gift that I've got right down the bottom, it's won its last three, and I'm sure Mother System that it would have been a good favourite to have backed in that race. But this system doesn't bring every winner up, but it does bring some weird ones that when you look at the form you think, well, how did that win? And then in the last race there, couldn't have backed that. Adronima's Kingdom, that was another one for Holly Doyle. But again, you can see Raven Glass was second, but it wasn't an unlucky second. So she did well on that, but again, it wasn't something I could have found. But the losses that we've had there, the three losses, we've had a second in each of them races. Then we go to Wetherby, 2 o'clock, unraced again, didn't bother with this, but did have the winner that was mostly one of the easiest winners of the day. It must have won by 15 lengths. It was a really, really good performance, that. And then we went into the 2:30. There was money coming all the time for Good Morning Alex. And of course you can see all the horses there I'd backed was right the way down until the one before. So that was a loss for us, but again we had 30 second there, price of 30. So that was no good. Then in the next race it was a lack of racing here, that everyone had run once or twice. And it was so unlucky because the one I had at the top there, that Extrication, was trading at such a low odds. I think it went down to 101. And Owner Cool came back and beat that. But that was a race where I'm trying to leave them ones alone anyway. Then the next race was a win for us. This was Astral Spirit, led from the stalls to the line. It was a good performance. But they kept, you could see this Southwell Duke, the favourite, was never going to pass it. And luckily, again, this is one I had down the bottom, went off at just over 6-4 there. So that was a winner. That got us back in it a little bit. Then we had one of these light orange ones, which was Illusionist. This was another one that I thought was beat and came back to nab Manila Scouse. So I was disappointed there. And again, you got it with the second again. And then into the 4:40, Canaria Queen. That was up there all the way. Then it went backwards a little bit. Then it came again and won. So I was happy with that. That was a top selection today. Then in the last race at Wetherby, the 5:15, the Crafty Mole. Well, what it was in this race, you can see there's money on every horse. Because I never fancied my Noble Lord, the odds on favourite at 185, it meant that I could back the whole of the field against it and just have the odd £3.59 on the favourite. But the favourite was so disappointing, you wouldn't believe. That ended up fourth. So whatever else was going to win was going to give us £100 return. So that was the Crafty Mole. So that was nice in the last one there. And then we went to Southwell for the last meeting. This is another light orange, which means it's basically the last selection. But one thing here, we didn't have the second. So Bailey's Kelstar just got us in as a winner. So actually we didn't need the second, but we just got in as a winner. But it was disappointing on the returns there. And then into the 2:40. We had a horse called Francophone. This returned at 14. That was a nice winner. But I did fancy more of Zainab in that. There was a lot of non-runners today at different meetings. There was a lot of bad weather. It was nice where I am. Then we moved into the next. This was a good winner, Sardinian Warrior. That's going to go for the Guineas or the Derby, I think. But again, it was one of those unraced ones where one of the unraced came second. You have to keep watching that. Then we lost the next one, and this, when I look at the other system that I did, this one would have come out top rated on that, I know that. And this was Pridwen, and I got it to come last, but yet again, I had the second there, one smooth operator. Ran well, but was never going to get there. And then in the 4:15, this was a no betting race again due to the lack of form on She's a Gambler. It just ran twice. And Blue Day, O'Sheen, Murphy. It didn't matter how I would have backed this one. It wouldn't have made any difference at all. One thing, oh yeah, that's right. So it wouldn't have made any difference at all. I didn't really fancy it to be a number one selection in that. And then in the next, the 4:50, Alvarez came through very strongly to hold Billy Joe, that did get bumped and bulked at the home turn. It cost it its race, but it came back, got beat about a head, I think it was. So again, it's another race where I finished second. And that's every one of those losers today that I've had the second. And then moving into the 5:25, second selection here, Trope Power. That duly obliged, so that got us back in it. And then the last race, the 5:55, this was another nice winner as well, New Image. That went off quite short, 2-1 favourite, I think. And I had the first four there. And there was all the other three prices were double figures. So I was quite happy on the day, but when I just looked at the £73 profit, yeah, of course it's not something you want to be greedy. You want to be happy to get a profit. But I'm just trying to look at a different staking plan that may be able to change it. But as I said, if I do the doubling up system, you just need a bad run, and it will be a bad run. So I really don't want to go down that. Otherwise, I'll keep to what I'm doing. But this system always throws out winners. But sometimes it doesn't throw out enough winners against your losers. But you'll never go 6 races without. I've done a look back at all my old form and the form that I've put on here as well, and there just isn't one that goes beyond 6. So it is a very good system in that sense. And I've already done the form for Monday, so I'm going to be putting that up in a minute. So yeah, so otherwise, at least it was another profit as we come to the end of the month. We just got 2 more days. A couple more days of profit like that, I'll be happy just to see that month out and forget it. So that's it, and thanks for watching the results show, and I'm going to put up the selections for tomorrow after this, and I hope you had a good day as well.